Under the lamp there is light, and light reveals human nature. Here, we explore the wisdom of life together. Welcome to HL Whispers. Have you ever experienced a moment like this? The conversation is light and cheerful, but then the other person suddenly throws in a line of showing off. And in that instant, your heart sinks. The truth is, all of us have encountered boasting in one way or another. Sometimes it's just casual pride. Other times, it's a deliberate show of superiority. But remember this, among all forms of boasting, there is one kind that's the most dangerous, unspoken. It's like an invisible knife, easily cutting through trust and closeness between people. Even the strongest relationship can start drifting apart. Why? Because this kind of boasting isn't about sharing, it's about silent comparison. You think you're simply talking about something good in your life, but what the other person hears is, "You're not as good as me." And just like that, the warmth in the relationship drops. The harder you try to impress, the further away the other person feels. So remember, some forms of boasting once spoken are like planting a ticking time bomb in a relationship. They hurt more than indifference, and they are deadlier than arguments. Today, I want to show you which kind of boasting is the most dangerous, why you should never say it, and how to avoid letting it destroy your most important relationships. This isn't just a casual reminder, it's a life lesson on human nature and relationships that everyone must learn. If you truly care about the people around you, this is one video you cannot afford to miss. First, never show off your wealth that day. It was a reunion of old classmates. Not long after sitting down, Mark pulled out his car keys, dangled them on the table, and said with a grin, "Guys, check this out. Just got a new ride. Imported, cost me over 40 grand. Business has been smooth these past few years. I pull in tens of thousands a month without even trying." Everyone smiled politely and replied, "Wow, impressive." But in their hearts, they all knew Mark was just showing off. The atmosphere instantly became a little awkward. Halfway through the meal, Mark waved his hand boldly and said, "Dinner's on me tonight. Making money is easy for me, so don't even argue." The group clapped and cheered. "All right, Mark, you're the generous one." But when the check came, the waiter read out the total. More than $300. Mark glanced at his phone, frowned, and said, "Something urgent just came up at the company. I have to run. Sorry, I'll make it up to you next time." With that, he hurried out. In the end, the rest of the classmates exchanged looks and split the bill evenly. No one said much, but everyone thought the same. He brags the loudest, but when it's time to pay, he's the first to disappear. Showing off wealth to others is really just saying one thing: "I'm better than you. You'll never measure up." Words like that don't bring people closer. They only leave others feeling resentful, slowly pushing them away. Someone who always flaunts their money will only come across as shallow. True weight doesn't lie in how much you say, but in how much you actually do. As it is written in the Shangshu Taijia, when virtue does not match one's position, disaster will follow. If a person's status or wealth is not matched by their character, it will eventually become a heavy burden, and may even bring misfortune. Wealth is not meant for showing off, but for doing good, for sharing, and for creating value. Only by using money wisely can one earn genuine respect. So the next time you feel the urge to boast, remember, silence and humility are the truest signs of strength. Real abundance doesn't lie in words, it lies in actions. Second, don't show off your kids. Because this kind of indirect comparison is often what makes people feel the most uncomfortable. At a lunch gathering, Linda excitedly said as soon as she sat down, "My son just got hired by a big corporation. They said it was because of his overseas Ivy League background. He was directly recruited." The other moms smiled politely and chimed in, "Wow, that's amazing." But the air instantly grew heavy. Grace sat quietly in the corner, forcing a faint smile. She lowered her head, picked up her glass, and took a small sip of water. In truth, her daughter had been preparing for years, but still hadn't found the right job. At that moment, Grace felt a sharp sting in her heart. Bitter and helpless, on the way home after the gathering, she sighed softly to a friend. Hearing things like that makes me feel like my child is being compared into nothing. A child's achievements and career may be a source of pride for parents, but in others' ears they can easily turn into an invisible comparison and even a wound. What was meant as joy becomes pressure for someone else. This kind of child boasting is like a knife that unintentionally cuts into relationships. As the saying goes, keep 3 parts of your words unsaid. Not every piece of joy needs to be broadcast loudly, because not everyone is in the place to receive it with ease. People with true wisdom know how to put their boasting away and instead spend more time listening to others' stories, offering understanding and empathy. A child's success, if only spoken of as parental bragging, drains the warmth out of relationships. But if turned into care and thoughtfulness, it can bring people closer together. Remember this: true character is not shown by saying, "Look how great I am," but by showing, "I know how to care for and respect others." Third, don't brag about your education. This kind of behavior is truly childish. At a company dinner, senior employee Robert raised his glass and said loudly, "Come on, where are my fellow alumni from our university? See, people from our school always get things done quickly. Smart and efficient. The company should hire more from our school." The colleagues at the table forced awkward smiles and nodded. "Yeah, Robert, you're right." But sitting quietly in the corner, David said nothing. He just stared at his glass of wine in silence. David had graduated from a local college. Since joining the company, he had relied on sheer effort and hard work to slowly earn recognition. Yet in that moment, a wave of bitterness welled up inside him. "I'm the one doing most of the work, but when it matters, people still only recognize the school name. It's disheartening." Bragging about education to others often sounds like this: "I'm smarter than you. You're beneath me." These words plant a sense of inferiority in others and silently build invisible walls among colleagues. At the end of the day, education is just a part of the past. It's not the sole measure of someone's present value. Truly wise people don't dwell on the labels of the past. They understand the importance of continuous learning and humility in everyday work. In fact, showing off your education is rarely a sign of confidence. It often reveals that you're still stuck in the glow of your past and unable to move forward. As Benjamin Franklin said, "Pride leads to downfall. Humility leads to progress." The moment you use education as the standard to judge others, you lose the chance to learn, and you forfeit the most important element in human interaction: respect. So if you ever feel the urge to brag about your degree, bite your tongue and hold it back. Instead, focus on your colleagues' strengths and think about how you can grow together with them. True character isn't built on diplomas. It's revealed through action, respect, and genuine care for others. Fourth, don't brag about your connections. At a dinner party, Eric dominated the conversation. "I'm really close with David. I've been to his house several times. He even signed a copy of his new book just for me." The people at the table smiled politely and replied, "Wow, that's impressive." But inside, many felt uncomfortable. He probably doesn't have much to show for himself, so he has to rely on others to boost his image. After the gathering, someone quietly remarked, "Truly remarkable people live their own lives brilliantly. They don't need to use others as a backdrop." Bragging about connections to others really sounds like this: "Look, I know important people, do you?" Words like that don't bring people closer. They create distance and walls between you and others. What people truly want to see is not who you know, but who you really are. When you constantly flaunt your network, others often think, "This person doesn't have enough confidence on their own," so they hide behind someone else's spotlight. Real relationships don't need to be flaunted. They naturally reveal themselves in everyday moments. What truly moves people is not who stands behind you, but the character and sincerity you show in your own life. As Zhang Guofan once said, "Never flaunt too much, for flaunting easily invites resentment." Those who truly shine don't stack up connections. They earn respect through their own hard work and integrity. So when you feel the urge to show off, swallow your words instead. Let your actions and achievements speak for you. When you treat others with sincerity and strength, the weight you carry within yourself becomes the most reliable and lasting light. Fifth, don't brag about where you live. True taste isn't defined by your address. At a dinner party, Sophia seemed unusually confident. With a smile, she said, "Our neighborhood is the hottest spot in town. The new cafes and restaurants there are all high-end. Naturally, the people who live there are on another level." The people at the table smiled and nodded politely, saying, "Wow, that sounds amazing." But behind the smiles, many felt uncomfortable, especially Anna, who had been renting an apartment in a more remote part of town. Hearing Sophia's words, she fell silent. After the gathering, Anna sighed to herself, "Maybe I should stop coming out so often, otherwise I'll just keep feeling like I'm being compared, and it hurts too much." Bragging about where you live to others really says this: "I live here, and you'll never measure up." Words like that don't draw people closer. They only create distance and discomfort. What people truly want to see is not your zip code, but who you really are. A warm home is not built by its address, but by the love and care within it. As Zhang Guofan once said, "Those in high positions must think of their virtue, not their appearance." Real value is never proven by flaunting your neighborhood or mansion. It's revealed through the kindness and character you show. So when you feel the urge to show off, hold back. Instead, share the warmth and stories from your everyday life. That's when your true light will shine, from the inside out. No matter where you live, what people will always remember is your character, not your address. 6. Don't brag about luxury brands. True class isn't defined by the things you hold in your hand. At a lunch gathering, Emily excitedly showed off her new purse. "Look, this is the latest model from a big designer brand. It cost me tens of thousands, and it's even a limited edition. I went through so much trouble to get it." Her friends praised her politely. "Wow, that's beautiful." But inside, the atmosphere turned quietly awkward, especially Grace, who was struggling to cover her child's tuition and daily expenses. Hearing Emily's words only made her heart heavier. As the lunch ended, Grace thought to herself, sigh, "Maybe I'll never be able to afford something like that in my whole life." Bragging about brands to others really sends just one message: "I'm more successful than you. You'll never measure up." Words like that don't bring people closer. They only create pressure and distance. Real charm isn't in the price of a handbag, it's in the person carrying it. A brand can decorate your appearance, but what truly touches others is your kindness and sincerity. As Socrates once said, "What makes a person noble is not outward adornment, but the virtue of the soul." So, the next time you feel the urge to flaunt a brand, bite your tongue and hold it back. Instead, let your actions and warmth inspire those around you. Your kindness will leave a deeper impression than any expensive item ever could. Today, let your character be your true brand name. When your kindness and integrity shine, you'll outshine any luxury item. All of us feel the desire to show off at times. But what really matters isn't what you say, it's how your words make others feel. Showing off builds walls, sincerity and empathy build bridges. So today, put aside the boasting and replace it with a warm word of care. You'll find that the distance between people begins to shrink. Have you ever been in a situation like this? What insights have you gained from it? Share your story in the comments. Your honesty may become someone else's comfort and inspiration. If you found this message helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. Together, let's spread more sincerity and warmth. This is HR Whispers. May my voice accompany you through loneliness, and may my words light up the corners of your heart. In this noisy world, what truly sustains relationships is not showing off or comparing, but understanding and compassion. Thank you for listening all the way through. I'll see you in the next episode.